Okay, so at that starts. Right now, we're going to transition into how to use our time management for different projects.
Okay.
You know, now again, that we have this extra time on our hands. There's a lot of things that we said when we was working those 8 and 10 and 12 hours a day. We would say, I wish I had more time to start a business. I wish I had more time to work on my home and do a rental project. I wish I had more time to read books. I wish I had more time. Well, guess what?
We got plenty of it.
We have plenty of time now.
Yes.
So, with that being said, how do you think, or how can you give out some good advice on how to really use your time management to start that project? Whether it's, you know, you want to do something with your home, you want to renovate your bathroom or improve your bathroom or your kitchen, or you want to start a business. You've been thinking about it, you're pretty good at it, and you just been wanting to do it, but you didn't have the time because you work a full-time schedule, got kids and a wife and all these things. So can you give us some advice on how we can start now with all the extra time we have to attack and address those projects?
Sure. The hardest and easiest thing to do that everybody feels on, whether it's you be doing a task at home or starting a big task like home-based business or a new job or following a dream, the hardest thing is start.
You gotta start.
You just gotta start. And I mean, there's ways you can start. You can plan and build yourself up to it.
Right,
but,
right.
I mean, if it just means just sporadically, just out of the blue, just start doing it, and hold yourself accountable.
Right.
Have other people hold yourself accountable for that, making sure you're getting it done, especially if it's something serious. Like, you should feel bad if the day went by and you didn't do it.
Absolutely.
You should feel horrible, so horrible to like you just get up and say, no, I'm not gonna let the day go by. I'm just gonna just do it.
Do it late.
You can do all the planning. You can get all organized. You can do all this stuff. At the end of the day, it matters if you get up and you start doing it.
Right.
And once you start, you create that chain of events for stuff getting done. It leads to something else, to something else, to something else. And they say you keep doing something for a certain amount of time.
About 21 days, it becomes a habit.
Yes, and then you won't even think about it like your paycheck, getting up and going to work. That was a habit. You had to go to work.
Right.
So now it's something personal. You're not even taking it serious. It has more to do with you and your future.
Right.
Personally, so you just gotta start. Stop making excuses and procrastinating.
Procrastination. It's a
And,
killer. It's a killer for some people. It's a killer of dreams.
People.
It's a killer for work. It's a killer for sleep. It's a killer when you up. Procrastination is just it just will demise your entire future if you let it get the best of you.
Right.
I like what you were saying that, you know, you just gotta start.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. I hear a lot of people say, well, I don't know where to start. Start some freaking where. Like, who cares if you trying to write a book, get your pen, get your paper, or get your laptop or your tablet, whatever your apparatus is that you're going to use to begin to write the first word, break it out, and just start. If you put because Jim Quick, I love Jim Quick. I don't know if y'all heard me talk about him a lot, but Jim Quick, he studies the brain activities and the brain functions and things like that. But he always says, when you get ready to start, he said, once you start, if you put the first word down on a page, naturally, you're going to continue to write the second word and the third and so on and so forth after that. If you're reading a book and you say, hey, I want to read more books. Well, once you start to read the first line or the first sentence in the book, you're not going to stop there. Guess what happens? Before you know it, you've completed a chapter.
Right.
So you have to start. So I like what you were saying about just start. Don't make the excuse. Don't get weary. Don't get exhausted before you even start because it's a big project. You know what I found? Like, I used to have I have a background in accounting, right? And so I used to work for this huge firm, and they would come and the projects would be major. And so sometimes I'd be like, man, I'm kind of overwhelmed with this. And so I would be like, you know what? We always want to put big projects last. You know, we want to do the little things, right? And so that's the wrong way to do it. I learned as I was on those jobs in those career fields, in corporate America especially, because people want their stuff pronto. They want their things ASAP. They like, Michelle, you better crunch these numbers and get it back to me so we can make more money. Basically, that's what they was telling me. I don't care what you got to do, and if something go wrong, it's your fault. But, and I just over time got used to that. But what I'm trying to say is that I learned to stop avoiding the big thing. Go ahead, get the big thing out the way first, because you know the little tasks, you can do it with ease. The little responsibilities, you know it's going to take you no time to do it.
Exactly.
So if you attack the beast first, you get King Cooper out the way. Yeah. Then here we go. We can save Princess Toadstool. We can really accomplish some goals. And so I started to do the big thing first. The main thing I wanted to avoid. The main thing I was like, man, I really don't want to do this. Do it, Michelle. Do the big thing first. And then when I got the big thing done, I was like, oh crap, that was over half of my day. Now I can start knocking out those little small things. And before I know it, all of my responsibilities are finished and completed. And I have executed that. Also, another thing with that is the fact that my mom says this. Well, our mom says this. I always say like my mom, like you're not my brother. But our mom, she says, how do you eat an elephant? When she first told me this, keep in mind, y'all was in my teens. And I'm like, what the heck is she talking about? Eating a freaking elephant? Who's eating elephants? Isn't that animal cruelty? But she was just like, Michelle, metaphorically, just go down the trail with me. I'm like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. How do you eat an elephant? Do you remember Mom saying that or asking us that question? She does still say it. You know how you eat an elephant? I'm like, yeah, I know now. But let me tell you, something that my mama says, I get it from Denise, right? Denise says, the way you eat an elephant is one bite at a time. Right. It sounds so crazy, but it's so true. When you have huge projects that you want to start or you want to do and they're your dreams and goals, you got to eat the elephant one bite at a time. You'll choke if you try to swallow a whole elephant. You'll never be able to chew it. But as you begin to chip them off, by the time you know it, you've digested that elephant and it's gone. And so I definitely love that. And I stole that from my mama. So if y'all want to steal it too, I think she wouldn't mind it. She wouldn't mind it. But you want to attack these big projects first. Mm-hmm. Then move to your smaller projects. Right. Another thing that I found out at the Ed Starts is making a to-do list. Mm-hmm. It just keeps you on schedule. Like when you commit to a to-do list, you won't let yourself down. Like you were saying, you know, some people may procrastinate throughout the day knowing they have to do it and then go to bed and it's not done. Then you wake up in the morning, the same thing is still facing you. And now you're feeling down on yourself, you're feeling discouraged because you should have did it yesterday. Now you got another 10 things that you're supposed to do today. You don't even see how you're going to get it done. So now you blame yourself, well, I should have did it yesterday when I had more time. And now my wife and my kids and well, I'm just going to say, like he said, accountability. You have to take accountability for these things, but make it easier for yourself. You don't have to make it more challenging or complicated. You can make it easy for yourself. How do you do that, Michelle? How do you do that at Dad Starts? Make a freaking to-do list.
That's it. That's all you got to do.
It's easy. You'll make it that evening or that night, and you'll have whatever it is, 1 through 10. I number mine, and when I get up in the morning, boom, I'm starting with number 1. Check, that's completed. Number 2, check, that's completed. And so if I don't get all the things on my list done, guess what's at the top? If I ended on number 5 in the morning, number 5 is number 1 now. Mm-hmm. And I start back going down that list. And see, every day you should be adding on to this to-do list. Mm-hmm. There shouldn't be idle time. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you don't have any free time. But when you're starting these projects and you really have goals in mind and dreams in mind and your expectations are set high, you want to stick to some type of structure. You want to adhere to a schedule, right? Yes. Just like you were saying with the calendar and Google, just, hey, set a reminder. Mm-hmm. There are so many apps. At That Starts, how many apps? Thanks to the internet and Google and all these software companies, there are 1 billion apps, I'm sure. It's probably 1 trillion. That can help you with to-do lists and organization and having a sense of structure. You want structure in your life so you can have a deadline. My second mom, she's good at this. She teaches the to-do list. Write it down, check it off. And another thing she says, she's like, put a date on it. And when she started, remember Dee used to say that to us all the time? We'll give a quick plug to Dr. Dietrich Cotton. She's a mentor. She's also our second mom. She's a great mentor. Go check out her Better Up movement that she has started. She's been starting for a while. She's really good with it. Okay, but she says, because I talk about her all day, but what she says is have a date on it. Right. So when she first told that to me, she'll be like, little girl, what's your deadline? What's your date? And I'll be like, what you mean? She said, this is what you want to do. What's the date for you to do it? I'm like, I ain't got a date. She's like, well, you're not going to do it. Sure. And I'm like, wait, what? You was a dream killer. You know, what do you mean? What are you doing? She's like, no. If you put a date on it, you're going to do your best to stick to that date. Right. You just saying you're going to do it and you're not having the proper avenues to get you to the execution, you will start whenever. Then you can procrastinate. Now you can make excuses because you don't have a set date in place. Right. But when I tell you guys, this works. Her method works. Everything that I say that I'm going to do, let's take this awesome I'm Just Saying podcast. I put a date on it after I was a little bit ignited by At Dad Starts. But I said, you know what? Boom, bam. We put a date on it, and guess what? We was up and recording. So put a date on yourself. Give yourself a timeline so you can have something to track and measure it by. Right. We just want you guys to understand that during this time when we have more time, which is a blessing for a lot of us, this is really not a negative. And please, don't misunderstand. I know we've had a lot of losses during this pandemic. Right. People have lost jobs and income and family. So I definitely understand, more people are working extra hours like our nurses and doctors. They're still working. Grocery workers, delivery people. So we definitely understand. But those of us who are at home who don't have an essential job and we don't necessarily have to go out, take this time to do things that you want to do. John Maxwell says this. How can you go on someone else's job, earn them money for 8 or 10 or 12 hours of the day, some longer, and then come home and don't spend a minimum of 2 hours on your own projects? Mm-hmm. He says, you don't have a dream. You have a hobby. Like dead serious. And when I first heard him saying, right. I mean, it's so true. At first, I was kind of offended when I heard him. I was like, dang, John, that was really frank. But as it ministered to me, I was like, you know what? You doggone right. I don't plan to be making you money for the rest of my life. I want to make my own income. I want to earn a financially independent life. And at That Starts, you have just released some things. Do you want to share what you just released? Because you have definitely been on the road to financial freedom and liberation, and now you are teaching how to do this. You can share about that a little bit.
Yeah, real quick. Thank you. Everything I've learned, I'm real into social media, working online, making money online. I always knew it was possible. It took me a while to make myself get fully immersed into it to where I can create income for myself and my family. But once I did, I didn't look back. And now I've written an ebook. I have a website. I have clients now. I'm generating income.
Wow.
It's just amazing. You're seeing the fruits of your labor. And you can do anything you put your mind to. I'm not where I want to be, but I see myself getting there, and that's what matters to me. You know what I'm saying? I see the progress, and I'm happy that what I'm doing is affecting people. They like it, and they respect me for it, and they pay me for it.
Right. Financial freedom.
Yes.
Well, I, for one, as your sister and as a partner with you, and just being able to come up under your tutelage, I'm very proud of you. It's very impressive. When you see someone say, you know what, this is what I want out of life. It inspires and motivates, and that's exactly what we aim to do here on I'm Just Saying. We don't want to come and if this podcast is not upsetting you, if this podcast is not making you say, they're right, let me get off my butt and go do something, then this may not be the podcast for you. But if you find yourself getting a little bit offended, if you find yourself thinking all day like, man, at Dad Starts, at Shelly D, they right. I can do it too. Then this is a podcast for you because we want to encourage you and motivate you.
Right.
Also inspire you to say, I can too. Get out there and do it. I don't care what it is. Cooking, gardening, podcasting, public speaking, relationship coaches, whatever it is. Being a minister, I don't care. Start to do it. Get up and do it. Like always, this is Shelly D. Cotton. You can let it go or let it be. The truth will surely set you free with Shelly D. This is I'm Just Saying podcast. My co-host here with That Starts. I hope you guys have a great day and enjoy this message on productivity. We'll see you later.